Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Looking at the NBA on Saturday, 14 games to go through, only 2 teams not playing. So we're going to go through the best bets that I already have on my card here. We got some props nice and early on Friday while I was watching some of these games. Nice little 2-1 on Friday for the VIP folks. We're going to go through how I did, give you guys a chance to jump in the VIP if you're interested, and then get right into these plays that I have here for Saturday. So if that all sounds good, give this video a like. Let's get right into it. I told y'all on the live show on Friday that I was going to take it relatively easy on Friday night. Just 2-1, only 3 bets on the card, and 2 sides there, I should say, and 1 prop, which is obviously not the norm for me. You know, we do mostly props on this show, but I was saving the bankroll here for Saturday, and I just wanted to creep over 50 units. So we got up 0.8 units on the night, 50.6 now on the season. Feeling really good about it. So if you are interested in jumping into the VIP, still have 2 codes left. If you do want to get 25% off your first month, you can do that using code 50U. Now that we finally surpassed the 50 unit mark, we got really close. We had like 49.6 before I had like a 15-day, or it was like an 8 to 9 day losing streak, lost 10 units, had to build it back up. So finally got back up over to 50 units, feeling good, and want to give you guys a chance to jump in the VIP if you're interested. We're doing a lot more in the VIP than just talking about me just giving bets, I should say. There's a lot of really great looks from a lot of really smart people in there, including the VIP cappers that we have dropping plays, and myself, and then everybody just sort of helping each other out. So I really appreciate the community that we're building. And if you're interested in jumping in, you can do that, like I said, for a discount. On Saturday, we are going to have the live show earlier than normal because I got to get in there and talk about 14 NBA games with you guys. Technically, I'll be talking about 12 because there's going to be 2 that tip off before we go live, but that's fine. I want to go live and give us as much time as we can for the 12 games that we'll have to go through here on Saturday. So make sure you are subscribed to the page. Give me a comment as well. I'd love to be able to see some of the early looks from you guys who are going to plan on coming on the live show. Drop those in the comments with your best bets, and we'll definitely be looking at as many as we can in the live show. Plan on going for longer than an hour, which is what we normally do, so we can find as much as we can. So hope to see you guys there. For now, let's jump into what we've already got on the card for Saturday. One more thing from me before we jump right into these plays. I saw a couple people, not a lot. I saw a handful of people in the comments upset about a bet that they claimed I gave on the previous show about Harrison Barnes rebounds. The thing I didn't do was tell you I was betting that. I said, if we see Jeremy Sochan in, then I'm going to be betting that. What's unfair is that Jeremy Sochan didn't start. So Harrison Barnes was already likely to get more minutes, and I didn't bet it in the morning. So I didn't put it on my card. I gave it out as a lean. What I'm committing to you guys is I'm going to give you a much more clear understanding of what is a lean and what is a bet. Now, I can understand the misunderstanding with the Harrison Barnes bet because I said if Jeremy Sochan is in, then I'm going to put 1.4 units to win 1 back, right? The problem is like I said, he didn't start, and only those in the VIP got that information for me that I wasn't playing Harrison Barnes unders, and everybody else obviously was left with the wonder, well, if Jeremy Sochan's playing, he said he's playing, so I'm going to go under on HB, but starting lineups matter. So I'm going to be careful to make very clear to you also about starting lineups and what I would do in certain situations. And if I don't have that info for you, then I just won't give it because I don't want people getting upset that a lean was claimed to be a bet and vice versa. But if you want to look at the record, there's plenty of episodes back to back with exactly how I'm doing, keeping that track in the VIP as well. So anybody who's interested in looking at that stuff, hit me up directly. Just wanted to at least touch on that. Let's get into some plays for Saturday. As always, going to be using propsmadness.com. If you do not yet have an account with Props Madness, you can either use a free week trial or sign up using code LYB and get 25% off your first month using the best product around to make sure you're finding all the best value on Props Madness. Any questions about this platform while I'm using it here or on the live show, happy to answer questions in the comments as well. Any of the other tools you see me using as well will be linked in the description of the video. So if anybody's trying to find out where it is they can find the stuff I'm using here, you'll find that in the description of the video. First bet on the card for your boy. Looking at this Celtics and Mavs game here, and I'm going over to the Zinger, the unicorn, Kristaps Porzingis. We hit this last game. We gave it out on the live show, and now I'm giving it out the night before, which is ~1 points over for Kristaps Porzingis. And you can still get the +110 that I got here on Bet365. A couple things I'm looking at. They feed the big man early. And this is what I talked about with the last time we took the Kristaps bet for in the last game where he hit 11 against the Lakers. And that game wasn't even end up being close, 21 points, but we got there in the first quarter because Zinger played 11 minutes. He played 9 minutes and took 8 shots. And that's the thing that we come back to with Porzingis is he's taking a ton of field goal attempts per game in the first quarter, which is not uncommon for teams to really try to make sure their big man gets involved because big men don't dribble the ball nearly as often as the shorter guys or the the wings. At this point, there's no one short that we're talking about on this team other than Peyton Pritchard. But either way, they try to get the guy who's not a primary ball handler involved in the offense early to keep him interested, right? And that's what we've seen in his first quarter points since he came back from injury and started playing normal minutes. You can see these are the 2 games he came back, one against the Rockets, one against the Thunder. Those were the first 2 back for him. He only played 5 minutes and 5 minutes in each of those first 2 games. Once he got back up to full strength against the Nuggets, he played 10 minutes in the first quarter, 7, 11, 7, 8, 8 and 9, and he's not playing less than 7 minutes. So as long as he plays 7 to 10 minutes, he's probably good for another 4 field goal attempts. That's what his averages are showing us per about 8 minutes is what we'll say. It's basically 4 shots per 8 minutes for him in the first quarter. So I'm going to take that at plus money, even at 5.5, especially because it's pretty simple for him. Obviously, he needs to make more than 1 3 and 1 2, but he's also getting to the free throw line, not in this game, but an average of about 1.82 times per first quarter in each of these games. So you add all that together, I really like him for about a projection of about 6.5, which is what he's averaging on the season, in 13 of 19 for the Zinger. So we're taking him over on the first quarter points. I've got to stay away for you guys as well, because those of you who follow along know that we love Jason Tatum rebounds when he's playing with the whole team. And obviously in these last 5 games, this has not been a very good hit rate for him, under in 4 of 5. Some decent reasoning behind all of it, I will say, but this is still a very tired team for the Celtics. And I mean, they played 5 games in 7 nights, basically starting on January 15th. They played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now they're about to play their 7th game in 7th game in roughly like 9 nights, 10 nights. It's insane how much basketball they've been playing as of late, away from home as well, right? And now we're back here in Dallas for this one. Pretty early start. I just don't trust a lot of it. The only thing I do feel good about is Porzingis getting volume in the first quarter. Other than that, I don't know really that we can bank on Jason Tatum on the boards. In a weird spot for him. Once they get rested, get out of this really long road trip and get back home, then we'll start talking about maybe the effort being more available and the stamina for a guy like Tatum to get more than the 8.5 boards he needs here. Moving on to Miami, Brooklyn, got to play in that game. And for those of you who know me as well, you know I've been on a strict no Miami Heat diet for this season. Well, there is one person who has made me cheat on that diet, and that is Kel'el Ware, and I'll continue to do that, man. I love this dude's game. Watched him in Summer League. We all bet on him in Summer League. Those of you who've been following along since June or July, we all know about what he did against other fellow rookies, but now it's just about him getting minutes, right? And obviously he's a stud. We know, if you haven't seen him play, man, this dude can get his forehead at the top of the backboard. I highly recommend giving him a view. He kind of looks like Wemby, just maybe 5 inches shorter. Anyway, the last 3 games here, and really the last 3 games, 35, 39, and 34 minutes. 2 blowouts in there where they got smacked by the Bucks and they got beat by the Blazers and smacked the Spurs themselves. So 2 blowouts and a regular normal game here within double digits, and he's still getting 30 plus minutes. He's blowout proof. He's now up for Rookie of the Year, and this is becoming a lost season for the Miami Heat squad. So I don't have a ton of him on court, off court, none of the matchup stuff. I don't really care about this. He's going up against the Nets. And one of the key things here, why I love the bets, and let me make clear what the bets are, excuse me. I have 2 bets on Kel'el Ware. I took over on the points, 17.5, and I also took over on the rebounds separately, over 9.5, and got that for minus 110 on his stuff on DraftKings. So starting with the board, something that's pretty interesting here for the Brooklyn Nets as they continue to just flounder and roll towards a lottery pick this for next season. If you look at them over the last 7 days, where they've just been sitting the majority of their team, and that's one of the best sort of features here of FanDuel Fantasy Pros is that you can see team defense versus position, and you can also filter it between 7 days, the last 15 days, or the season as a whole. So you can get some pretty good splits here. And if you look at rebounds over the last 7 days for Brooklyn, they're giving up the 4th most to the center position. And they were a pretty good rebounding team before they just buckled and decided that they didn't care about this season. Or, well, we knew they didn't the whole time, but they started winning games. So they had to ship a couple guys out, including DFS and Schroeder. And now we're looking at them as just a sieve down low. So the thing about the points is interesting. They haven't been playing very many scoring centers over the course of their last bit of time. And that's another really solid option here on Props Madness, is the ability to go back and look at prior centers and how they did against them. And you can see there's not a very good hit rate for the points for these recent centers, but Nick Richards against this team, this was a blowout, right? And so Nick Richards ended up with 3 fouls. He got the rebounds, not the points. We'll talk about him more later. Cat got his. Zubac didn't need to play much in a blowout. DeAndre Ayton didn't play much at all in that game. Drew Eubanks is Drew. But either way, I could keep going through these. I have some pretty solid reasonings for why these guys didn't get their points. Kel'el Ware is going to play minutes no matter what. There's no worry about that, obviously barring injury, knock on wood, because he's so fun to watch. So I'm going to keep going with it. If you want to talk about the points, the shot attempts are there, 15, 17, and 19. They're getting him involved. He's much more offensive than Bam Adebayo. So I think he's good for another 16 shots, 20 points. I have him at about a 19.7 point projection in about 34 minutes in this game. And so I'm feeling really good about everything here. If you want to take him for the double-double, minus 105, it's all good. We love Kel'el Ware in this game. I'm going to make a quick stop here on the Kings and Knicks. I don't have a play, but I do want to say right now Josh Hart is questionable. And if Josh Hart is not a go tomorrow, which, I mean, I don't know, you probably have to cut off Hart's leg to keep him from playing. But if he is not a go tomorrow, I'm loving Jalen Brunson assists against this Kings team. And I already was looking at the Brunson assists because you look at this Kings squad and the way that you beat them is off the spot up or the catch and shoot, right? You find open shooters, and that's what I think Jalen Brunson's going to be doing in this game. One of the other functions here of Props Madness you can use that's really, really helpful is the play type analysis all the way at the bottom here. And you can see how a guy is scoring his points and how a team is allowing their points. So you look at the spot up play here, right? They are dead last, are the Kings, in limiting spot up shooting. So guys like Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and if he was playing Josh Hart, would be good options here for Jalen Brunson. But the thing that really has me going to Brunson assists if Josh Hart is out is what I see when I go to NBA Advanced Stats. This is the Fantasy Labs page linked in the description of the video as well. And what I've got here is on court, I've selected Brunson. I've got Mikal Bridges, Karl Towns, and OG Anunoby. Off court, I've got Josh Hart, because if he doesn't play tomorrow, I want to know what happens when these guys, who are going to still be playing 35, 36, 38 minutes for the Knicks tomorrow, they're all going to be playing that amount with or without Josh Hart. But without Josh Hart, when they all play together, one thing you can see here for their minutes, let me get this up for you. Jalen Brunson, in the 57 minutes that he's played with all three of those guys, but without Josh Hart this season, is at about 10 assists per 36 minutes. So I think he's going to be good for about an 8 to 9 assist projection in this game. And he will be playing about 36 minutes. And once again, this is a very good team to get those assists against. 4 catch and shoot shooters for the Kings too on the season. They are allowing, they're pretty good limiting assists overall, but to the point guard position, they will give it up. So I'm really loving Jalen Brunson assists if Josh Hart is out on Saturday. As I go ahead and get into the Lakers and the Dubs, go ahead and give that video a like if you have not yet done so. Subscribe to the page, and definitely recommend turning on those notifications so you don't miss any of the lives when we do go live. Reminder, that's 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, one earlier than the hour than the normal time. But let's look at this Dubs game, another little rivalry that we've got here. And I'm just going to go right to the man, LeBron James. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was a complete hit rate merchant on this bet, and I'm fine with it. One thing that always makes me happy too that I want to show you guys is DraftKings has this at 22.5 minus 110. Pinnacle is what we call a sharp book, meaning they are smarter and we trust their lines to be more accurate than we do a book like DraftKings, which we call a copycat book, because they're just basically seeing what the market is offering and then copying it so they don't get any inefficiencies in their markets. But for Pinnacle, they're actually doing their own projections. They're projecting what they think is going to happen in a game and then offering you the line accordingly. Minus 122 on Pinnacle means Pinnacle thinks it's more likely that LeBron goes over his points than even DraftKings does, which means we're getting value on the DraftKings line here because it's 12 cents better than the Pinnacle line. 22.5 points for a man averaging 23.6 on the season. Let's start there. The next thing is, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hit rate all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. If you look at him, and I've got this up right here, I'm calling it hit rate merchant stat, but if you go to StatMuse and you pull this up for LeBron James, I typed in LeBron James first quarter. No, this is not what I want. Excuse me. Not the first quarter game log. I want LeBron James game log versus the Warriors last 8 regular season games. And that is a little bit of a spoiler. I'm over on LeBron James 22.5 points. Also over on his first quarter points. Got to shout out my guy Crank Zone once again, bringing some great looks to the chat. He loves to bet early, man. Him and Legacy King get in on it real early, which is great. Take advantage of these soft lines. And the points line, whether it's first quarter or whole game for LeBron, I mean, look at these last 8 regular season games: 31, 33, 40, 36. One dud in there, played 26 minutes in a blowout, 31, 56, and 26. Now, look, I'm not going to tell you that you should bank on what he's done 2 years ago as to tell you what he's going to do tomorrow. But you can look at his history versus Steph and the Warriors, and I think we can bank on LeBron giving a shit. Now, if you want to take the dimes or the boards, I'm fine with it. The 22.5 points, though, is the thing that is so low that I can't get past it. There's one game that he didn't beat it. Every other game he soared past it, and there was only one of the 8 that he went under 30 points. 6 out of the 8 games he got 30 plus. Including on Christmas here, 31. We took him for over like 23.5 points in that game. I won't forget, because we crushed that Christmas Day slate. A little sweep there, 4-0. And LeBron was a big part of that. And if he's going up against the Dubs again, this might be not his last game in Golden State, because he's going to have one more this season. But he's getting down there. He's getting close to his final games, and he loves playing out here in the Bay Area. So I got to take him over 22.5 points on the game. I also took him over 4.5 points in the first quarter. We're going to ride with the King tomorrow. This is a lean. One more time. This is a lean. Max Christie over 9.5 points. I have not put this one in yet. Waiting to see if what happens here. This is minus 103 on Caesars. Pinnacle has minus 110. I want to let market pressure kind of push this around a little bit and let me see what other people think about Max Christie before I bet on it. But what I do know is Max Christie is another guy we bet on the last time these teams faced on Christmas. He went over, and a big part of that was the fact that this is a team that is terrible against the spot up, right? The Dubs are going to blitz you. They're going to try to force the ball out of the primary ball handler's hands, and that's going to leave guys in the corner like Max Christie wide open. So he's taking 28% of his shots here from the corner, 17% from this corner, 11% from that. The Dubs are 21st and 17th, respectively, in each of those corners. Overall, they're in like the bottom 7 in terms of limiting corner threes to their opponent. They're awful against the spot up, 29th. The only team that's worse is the Kings, 29th against the spot up, again, because of how they play. So this is just a guy tailor-made for this stuff. And as we've been talking about for a while with Christie, he's going to get the minutes in games that aren't blowouts. Played 29 minutes in the 21-point blowout of the Celtics. Went under, by the way, 2 for 6 from 3. The Celtics are one of the best spot-up defenses in the league. So when he plays against teams that are not good at defending the spot-up, much better outcome for him, right? Against the Wizards, he did play 31 minutes. That was AD's game. I don't tell you, I'm not worried about that one either. And then, look, all the other ones, it's all about the minutes. 37, 33, 31. He's not going to be playing low minutes unless it's a complete blowout, right? So I think this is going to be a pretty good game here with the Celtics, with the Dubs doing Dub stuff, and the Lakers, a better team than they are, but I don't think that they should be given the benefit of the doubt of blowing anybody out right now, especially with Golden State at home. So Max Christie will have a good reason to play 32 to 33 minutes, and in that time, I expect him to be close to 11 points in this game. Again, though, I have not bet this yet, so unless it ends up on my card, you won't see it in the results and the review for the next video that comes out. Please don't turn off this video when I tell you that I'm betting on Nick Richards, because I know a lot of people have recently been frustrated with him. That said, how can you not like the rebounds against this Wizards team? You could like whatever you want against this Wizards team. My thing is, I'm not inclined to bet points for a guy who's playing on a team with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Brad Beal. Like, there's just not that many shots to go around, and Brad Beal is going to be playing in this game. He's already listed as probable and looks like he's good to go. So with that in mind, we still got to attack the Wizards and whoever the center is that's playing against them. If we look at the Wizards on the season, you could take any sample size. The last 7 games, the last 30 games, the last 100 years, the Wizards cannot defend centers, and they haven't been able to for years now. We probably will see some Joval in there to help out, but Nick Richards is still going to be out there for enough minutes that he's going to be playing without Joval. Wizards give up the most points. They give up the second most rebounds. They're not good on defense anywhere. Sorry again to my Wizards homies. Your team's just not good. Nick Richards, though, is going to be playing in this last game against the Nets, who we told you are getting pummeled by centers as well. 20 rebound chances in 22 minutes. That's all they need their center to do. That's why they brought him here. They just need somebody to be a body in the paint and to get those rebounds. And guys like KD and Devin Booker, or even Ryan Dunn, like, these guys aren't really crashing the boards very much. It's about the center holding down the paint and making sure they do their thing. So Nick Richards, easily at 30 minutes. And if you put him at 24 minutes, now I think he's likely to play 29. The only reason he played 22 in this game against Brooklyn wasn't even the blowout. He had 3 fouls in the first half. So it looked like another awful game, and he turned it around at least with the rebounds to get 15. I do think if he stays out of foul trouble, which he should, like, who's getting him into foul trouble? Alex Sarr's not crashing into him. Joval, maybe, but he's not even going to start and won't be seeing him until the end of the first quarter when Nick Richards is probably on the bench. So with that in mind, I think he's going to be good once again 29, 30 minutes, and probably a solid, 20 rebound chances in 22 minutes. You got to love his opportunities, once again, with the volume in a game against the worst team defending centers, maybe in the history of the NBA. All right, quick reminder, we do have 25% off for you guys if you use code 50U. That'll get you 25% off your first 3 months in the VIP if you're interested in joining and getting some of these 50 units that we've already made here. The goal is 100, and we're halfway there, just over the halfway mark of the NBA season. So we're still on a decent trajectory here, and we're going to keep it going. But also, one more reminder, see you guys 4:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on Saturday, not 5:30. Going an hour early so that we can get ahead of some of these games that are going to be up there. So best of luck to everybody tomorrow. And until I see you on that live show, happy betting.